Evangelical women suffer from sexual pain disorders like vaginismus at over twice the rate of the general population. In our surveys, and I'm quoting from Sheila Ray Gregoire and Dr. Keith Gregoire, authors of The Marriage You Want, roughly 23% of evangelical women experience vaginismus, which is when the vagina is so tight, nothing can go in, like painful intercourse. You can't have intercourse. It's closing down. Like, no, you're not going to get in. With 7% finding penetration impossible, why do evangelical women have it worse? Our studies have been groundbreaking in discovering some of the key factors. We believe much of it boils down to toxic messages common in evangelical circles that the body interprets as trauma. When women are taught, this is very important, that's why I'm reading this. When women are taught that they're obligated to have sex if their husband wants it, the message given to women is, you don't matter. He has the right to use you whenever he wants. Even the husband isn't saying that or acting that way, but she grew up in church hearing that message. And so this is more likely to ambush her on the wedding night. And if she grew up hearing that she had to cover up so as not to be a stumbling block to boys, she also has a higher chance of experiencing vaginismus. She has been taught that her body puts her at risk of objectification and assault, and so her body can tense up to protect itself, even if consciously a woman doesn't want this to happen. And so this is the very important part of female libido that I want to talk about in this video, which is what we're taught growing up. And unlike men, women get this message much more than men, because women are taught, like in this example, your body is for your husband. You must offer it to him and do not deprive him of your body. And the moment that happens, a woman is already taught from a very young age that her body doesn't belong to her. She has to disconnect from her body. Whereas what you really want to do, you want to teach your children that their bodies are natural. You want them to be in touch with their bodies, like what am I hearing? How does this food taste? You know, when I'm exercising, what muscles am I feeling? And then as an adult, when you start having a libido, you want to feel, well, what turns me on? What turns me off? You want to be really connected to your body. I call it being embodied. And this embodied can be disrupted by these negative sex messages that the church teaches, but also by women who are RAPED'd. Can I say that on YouTube? Because women who are raped also have a 20% rate of vaginismus because they experienced, my body isn't mine. They're just taking from me. I think that men do not get that same message. They're just told, hey, your woman should offer her body to you. The other negative message that women get through church teachings actually is that to be a good girl, to have men desire you and want you and value you, you must be a virgin. You must not like sex. Because if you like sex and have sex, you're devaluing yourself. In the purity culture, they talk about your chewed gum. No boy wants chewed gum. These are very negative messages you're telling a young girl. And so every time she has a libido, she's got to push it down, push it down, push it down, because I want to be a good girl. I want to get married. Oh, I'm so bad. I'm feeling turned on. I'm thinking about my boyfriend touching me, you know, and I'm bad. I got to push it down. Like, it can cause a real struggle. And women are taught that your value is as a virgin. I know that in modern society here in the US, this has changed, but women that were born in the 60s like I was, or 70s, are definitely imparted with that message, and religious women too. Your value lies in not having had sex, which means no libido. So when you have spent so many years of your life pushing down certain feelings, they're dormant. They've become dormant. And what would give you permission to wake up that smoldering cauldron of your sexual vitality? It's been suppressed by negative messages that your body belongs to your husband, you don't have any value if you're sexual, your value is as a virgin. You taught your whole life as a woman, your value is as a virgin. People will disrespect you if you've had sex. And you can go in the manosphere and hear all about the men who tell you that you're a piece of shit and you're like chewed gum if you've had too many body count and all of this. And so then you've had to turn that down. And now you're married and you want to have sex with your husband, but it's all pushed down because you've lost that connection with your body. You've lost that connection with your body. You've made it evil. And you know Jesus is watching. God is watching everything you do. So this is not a very fertile field for wanting to have sex. I'll tell you that. I will tell you that. This is not a fertile, inviting field for sex. Now, in the Christian culture or religious culture, men are also taught to wait until marriage. But I'm going to tell you why I think they're able to push that aside and have sex anyway, or why they will discard their religion. The man's libido is so strong, it's their biology, and their testosterone as well. But even when their testosterone goes down, they still want sex more than most women. Their libido is so strong that they're just like, I don't care what the Bible says. I don't care what the church says. Their urge is too strong. It's like telling a starving person they can't take food from the grocery store. If your hunger is that strong, you're going to take the food. I understand men. I really understand men, which is why I'm able to make these videos. This is why I can make these videos, because I've really tried so hard to understand men. But guys, correct me here if I'm wrong, because I always have something to learn. The man's libido is so strong that he cannot have it tamed to some church teachings. I know some try, but I don't think that that's successful at it. So they just decide that they're just going to ignore that, the libido. But it's easier to suppress a woman's libido through church teachings because there's more targeted at the woman. Her libido isn't as strong, and women really want to be good. They want to be nice. They want to be cooperative. They want to be wanted by a man. And there's no teaching going around, no woman will want you if you had your dick in another pussy. That's not a thing. And so what I really wanted to do in this video is go into one of the reasons that a woman's libido can be unnaturally low. You know when we talk about how to raise a woman's libido, and some people talk about spontaneous desire, which is like, I want sex. I'm feeling yummy. I want sex. I want to be close to my husband. I want to initiate sex with my husband. I'm just feeling like I want to be close to him. I want to be sexual with him. That's spontaneous. But they say it's normal for women to be mostly responsive desire. I disagree with this. I'll tell you why. But responsive desire is, well, I'm just sitting here reading a book. I do not think about sex at all. My husband comes up to me, starts rubbing my shoulders and kissing my neck. And it's just a nice, quiet evening. And it feels really good. And I'm starting to get a little turned on. And now I want sex. That's responsive desire. And Emily Nagoski, in her book Come As You Are, talks about spontaneous and responsive desire, and she tries to make everything very acceptable, but I do not think it's very acceptable, because our libido is a sign of our health. Our libido is a sign of our health, and I think that for too many people, their libido is unnaturally repressed due to what they were taught growing up, or things that happened to them, whether it was rape or they were taught sex is dirty, you should only have it with people, you should never do it because it's bad unless you're married and you love the person, which is very confusing because your body doesn't, you've already wired and programmed the brain to push down any sexual feeling and to not want any sexual feeling. And so it's a very twisted kind of message that makes no sense. And so for a woman to really know what her natural libido is, forget the female Viagra. We are sexual beings, not as horny as men, and I'm going to get into that in a sec. But I think a woman has to find out what is her natural libido if she casts aside the negative messages she got growing up about being a slut, being a whore, being of less value, fears of getting pregnant, men won't respect me, men will look down on me, I'm bad if I like it, and all those negative messages. My body is for my husband. And all these are actually dissociating the woman from her body. These messages are dissociating the woman from her body, so she doesn't even know if she's horny. She has no spontaneous desire because she's always been taught it was bad. And these are the wives that will just lay there, in my opinion, because I've talked to men who tell me their wives just lay there. They seem to enjoy sex. They seem to enjoy it, but they make no sounds. They say nothing. And that's because they're taught it's bad if they like it, but they do want it. So they'll be a passive recipient, which is very different from the woman who says, okay, I'll just lay or just do it. So there are different grades of that. But how can the woman reconnect with her own desire? I can make a video on that because I help people with that, like with my coaching. I would love to talk to some women and have them figure out what their actual desire is, because it requires kind of questioning what you were taught about sex and about your body and making friends with your body and honoring your body, because a lot of women don't want sex because the sex they're having is not very good, because if the woman is dissociated and disconnected from her body, she's unable to say, well, that doesn't feel good, this would feel better, this is what turns me on, this is what turns me off. And in general, a lot of guys, if the woman is not giving the guy any instructions, the guy is going to be too quick, too gropey, and too fast. Because for men, even the men that want an emotional connection, they're treating the vagina like a penis, which a penis is always happy to be touched. Like, touch me, grope me, touch me. It doesn't really need that much, although some men do want an emotional connection. And I work with men, so I can tell you, like the most hottest guys want an emotional connection. And that's healthy in my opinion. But their penis doesn't need much more than just some friction, A penis just needs a little bit of stroking, and it's very happy. And it can orgasm pretty easily. But a woman's pleasure is much more delicate. To the extent that she has suppressed her libido, we already have a problem starting out of the gate. I shouldn't say problem, but I think it's a problem, because she's been brainwashed and programmed to repress her sexuality, her desire, her pleasure. She's disconnected from her body. And now she's trying to have sex with her husband, and she doesn't know what she likes. She's just trying to get up to speed, because I'm talking from experience here, you guys. I was married 25 years, and I saw porn when I was 18, and I thought that's how I should have sex. Okay, I thought that's how to do it. They're doing it right there. That's how it's done. And I didn't start listening to my body until I was in my 50s, you guys. In my 50s. Took me a really long time. And I'm still kind of, in my work with men, when I'm with men, I have learned to speak up for what my body needs. And inevitably what my body needs is something that is surprising to them, but they want to know. And a man worth having sex with wants to know what you like. But typically, if we're not embodied, we haven't yet figured out what we like. And I think for women that's harder to figure out, because everything is internal. We can't see it, and we have more parts. Our entire clitoris is internal. The entire 4 inches of clitoral tissue is internal, except for the glands. The vagina is internal. The cervix is internal. Can't see it. Don't know what's happening. I don't know. This feels good. This doesn't feel good. And I think the woman is often, I shouldn't speak for all women, but for myself, I was usually trying to play catch up with the guy. Catch up. He's doing this. I gotta hurry my arousal. I got to rush my arousal to match his pace because he wants to stick it somewhere. My hand, my mouth, my vagina, he wants to stick it somewhere. And unless a man is taught by a woman who likes sex, these are the guys who are good in bed. They're emotionally tuned into a woman, so they figure out what she likes and what she doesn't like. That happens a lot. Those guys, okay? A next level up is that guy paired with a woman who says, I like this, I don't like that, and the man starts to learn. But if the woman doesn't ever speak up or she avoids sex, he doesn't really get a chance to learn all that. And if he watches porn and then he thinks that's how it's done, he might pick up negative habits from porn, like a lot of spitting on his penis, making a woman gag on his penis, no kissing. Maybe he picks up these things and now he expects that in the bedroom, and no woman's gonna like that. It might make it for a good video, but to like keep spitting, gagging, like that's like, just look at my face. So the woman isn't going to want to have sex. And I think a lot of women lose their libidos. This is what I'm trying to say. A woman can have her natural libido that she would have. Let's say a woman's libido is at a 7. The guy is a 10, but she's a 7 or an 8, like high, horny, healthy lust. But through negative programming as a child, it's now down to a 3. She's taught it's dirty, it's nasty. Your body belongs to your husband. No one values you if you like sex. Now it's down to a 3. And now she has sex with a guy who's trying to please her. He doesn't know what he's doing. She's not giving him any input. She's pretending to like it, so he thinks she likes it. And she doesn't like the sex she's having. Now her libido is down to like a 0. Now she's got like vaginismus. She doesn't want to do it at all. But maybe she didn't get any negative messages, but she just started having sex with this guy that's being too quick, too rough. And now she starts hating sex. Her libido is down to like a 2. Maybe on the days that she's ovulating or they're away for a weekend together and it's romantic, she's a little more horny. But other than that, her libido is pretty much gone and she doesn't know why. She thinks she has no libido. But again, it's the disconnection from her body. And most men, I'm going to tell you, because I teach them all in my appointments. Don't ask me about my appointments. But I'm just telling you that I have them. I have to teach them how to slow down. And they love slowing down. This is the thing. They love slowing down. Like, even if you're having intercourse, just tell the guy to start out slow. I would say, like, start out slow. And so, okay. I'm just going to say it. So some guys are so used to, and these are married guys even, they're so used to, I don't want to get banned on YouTube, but they'll go, I call it rabbit fucking, and I got fucked like that when I was married, okay? And I would be like bored staring at the ceiling. I've had guys fuck me like that. I said nothing. I'm like, this doesn't feel good. This is very boring. Okay, now I speak up. And because I'm a professional, men trust me, and they want to learn stuff. So I say go really slow. So instead of going do do do, they go do do. I'm like, no, slow down. And I want him to start out. I'm not going to do this, okay? This is YouTube. So just imagine this going in. When I say slow, I'm talking like 2 seconds in, 2 seconds out. And while you're going slow, I want you to look at me and kiss me, which they're already doing. But if you're not doing this to your woman, if you're going do 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 with your head somewhere in the pillow, she doesn't even know where you are. This is very bad sex. This is going to make a woman never want to have sex with you. You got to look at her, you have to kiss her, and you got to have some upper body strength so you can hold up your own weight. Or maybe she's on top. But you want to start out slow. Just try it. 2 or 3 seconds in, 2 or 3 seconds out. And maybe just go in an inch with just the head. Just going on, just try it. It's gonna feel really good. And because the clitoris is on the vulva, the clitoris, okay, I should do it this way. The clitoris is here. You're giving her more clitoral stimulation by just staying here. Maybe she likes it more deep. So you go all the way in and you just go gentle pushing on her cervix if she likes that. You can also change the angle of penetration. Just change the angle, change it up. Keep looking at her, keep touching her. Women, another difference between men and women. For men, even though they want the emotional connection, it's very physical for them. They need that release. They want sex a lot. And it's just their penis getting pleasure out of whatever hole it's in. And guys will laugh when I tell them you could fuck a grapefruit, because they know it's true. Not that they would. For a woman, our desire for sex is largely emotional based. Okay? Our genitalia will become engorged and wet based on how we feel about you. And how we feel about you has to do with how you treat us. If we respect you and look up to you, of course. And if you're present with me, you look at me, you touch me, you delight in me, that's the aphrodisiac. So that's why if you're having sex with the lights out, I don't think any woman's gonna like it. And you're just thrusting like a rabbit with your head in the pillow, she's not gonna like it. It's very bad sex. You're just no dick game, is what I would say. And it doesn't matter how big your penis is, because even a penis the size of my finger, I think my finger is like 2 or 3 inches. A finger feels very pleasurable. So don't get hung up, guys, on the size of your penis. I am going to be honest with you and tell you, if you're not hard, I can't feel you. But if you have a small penis and you're hard, it's extremely pleasurable. I'm going to repeat that. Your hardness, not your size, determines the pleasure. Now, some women have longer vaginas. I'm only 5'2½", so I don't need a long penis. Some tall women, like those Ukrainian women or Russian women, those Swedish women, they're like 6 feet tall. The men are taller, and the tall, skinny men, they have big penises, long, big penises. I'm going to tell you, the longest penises are usually on taller guys, African American or white, tall. Not because they're black, because they're tall. This is a correlation, not always true. If you want to be 6 feet tall and have a tiny dick, that's the worst. That's the worst. But you know, we all have our own struggles in life. So for a woman, her libido is very emotionally based. So that's another reason that all this childhood conditioning about our value to a man. You know, you tell me as a child that my value to a man is like use bubble gum if I've had sex with someone, that's going to hurt my heart. I'm not going to ever have my libido again. It's going to be gone. It's going to be gone because you hurt my heart. It's going to take a lot to wake that back up. It's like a trauma thing, you know. It's very sad. So I think that when women have a low libido, likely causes can be what the woman was taught about her body and around sexuality, and also the kind of sex she's having. And to the extent that a woman has already been taught that her body isn't hers, her sexuality is of no value, she's not tuned into her body, she's probably not going to speak up. And then the sex that happens to her won't feel good because she's not saying, hey, I need you to slow down. Hey, I don't like you to touch here until you've touched there. This is what I need to orgasm. I don't think she's ever going to let her husband watch her masturbate or let anything like that, which is pretty generic vanilla stuff. Now, when I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about being promiscuous. I'm not talking about cheating or affairs. I'm just talking about being in touch with our own bodies, our own sexuality. And that has nothing to do with the partners or whatever. I know I gave the example before about body count. That was just an example. But what I'm talking about is I think that every human being, we all need the ability to provide for ourselves financially, because no one's coming to save us. And we all have to take care of our health, our mental health, our what we eat, our exercise, our sleep, and our libido. And my libido is very important to me. I don't go around like picking up guys and bringing them home, okay? I don't do that. But I want to have, even if I don't have any sex, I want to feel a libido, and when I need it to be on, I want to know what I need to have it ignited. Men don't have to worry about that, you guys. Men do not have to worry about that. You can tell them that they should never masturbate, that it's evil. They're still going to masturbate. They'll feel very guilty because Jesus is watching. But they're still going to do it, and their libido is just so strong. They're made that way. It's very easy for them to come. They just need to put something in an opening. You know, a very extreme example of male libido is the gay guys who stick their penis through a hole in the wall in a bathroom stall or somewhere and have some other guy suck them off. You would never see a woman stick her pussy through a hole in the wall and have another woman finger her, rubber clit, or do whatever to get her off. That would never happen. I doubt it has ever happened. I would be horrified. Some of those guys have asked me, have you ever had a happy ending in a massage? I would never. If I was in Thailand and one of these ladies asked me for a happy ending, I would be grossed out. I would be like, you're not very pretty. We haven't had a connection. I'm just here for the massage. I know a lot of guys would say that too, but I find it absolutely, I could never just have some woman give me a happy ending. Like, no. I'm just a typical woman. And so I know that there are women who are more sexually adventurous than I am. Like they're polyamorous and they're this and that. I'm just a typical suburban mom woman. And I think I understand the typical man. Now, there are cases, let's talk about when the men don't have a libido. When the men don't have a libido, in my opinion, there's a health issue or a resentment issue. Health issue, resentment issue, or they're gay. I'm going to make a separate video on that. So I'll end this one. If you want any coaching, go to my website. By the way, someone went to my website and paid me the $149 for a coaching call a week ago. I emailed him right away and never heard anything. So if that's you, I think you gave me the wrong email because I emailed you. I heard nothing back. So, we'll talk about male libido in the next video.